welcome to the first French Friday of 2022. So I'm here in Frome in Somerset in the UK. I'm not in France, but Tim is in France. So we're going to hear, it's absolutely freezing here today, and we've actually had snow or sleet or, something earlier.
There we are.
Oh, perfect. Now I'm going to have to go like this now. Let's get further away. That's it.
That's it.
I'm thinking, what happens if I can't? I couldn't see. They must have changed it since I last did this. So, Tim, I'm just saying you're live in France. So, is it freezing with you as well?
It's absolutely freezing. It's really warm and cozy in the snug, which is this wonderful red room I'm standing in. So, yeah, but it's freezing outside. Absolutely freezing.
Well, I think we had quite a lot of people. I mean, something like 9,000 people, or more than 9,000 now, have looked at that sort of French flag thing that I posted, that I was going to start French Fridays again. I'm like, it's not going to be that interesting. But clearly, we've all got nothing to do, and none of us are going. Well, we're not able to travel to France freely, so.
I see dogs going as well. Hatchie's sound asleep at the moment. Down here.
Louis was fine running around. Oh yeah, he's sweet. Louis was fine running around the shop, but Louis.
So if I turn that around, perfect. I can show you Hatchie sleeping in here.
Oh yes, lovely. So what's your latest project you've been working on?
There's just an enormous amount. What I'll try and do, it's kind of, as long as the kind of Wi-Fi holds up, I can stretch to kind of one wing of of here. So I can show you a tiny bit around here, which is going to be quite fun. And as you can see, there's gazillion antiques and things that we've got and we're playing around with. And this was actually Eisenhower's study. So that's quite cool. And you come through into this is going to be, we're painting it this wonderful color. It's going to have apothecary jars going all the way up because it's so tall. It's 4.5 meters up to the kind of top. And it's tiny, and that goes through, actually, this is the butler's pantry.
Yep.
And we put the whole of this in. There's a little dumbwaiter over there, which is great. That comes up from the servants' quarters. But this was just literally for glasses and plates, because as you stretch around here, you come through into the dining room, which is massive. But we don't have any kind of the chandeliers working at the moment. But you can see that there's this incredible ceiling.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Look at that. Really wonderful. And then you've got the fireplace here, which is, again, it's almost baronial. It's just colossal. And it goes to that ceiling. So we're doing tapestries all the way around the whole of this. And then that goes through into the grand salon.
Yeah, it's amazing. I think that's where you do quite a lot of lives and things in that one, don't you?
Yeah. And this is that's the entrance hall. Sadly, it's now missing its Christmas tree. So it looks
That's the worst
vast.
thing about it. Yeah, take all your Christmas decorations down. Looks empty.
It looks completely empty. I think we're going to be, if we see if we can go up, that's about as far as the Wi-Fi will stretch on that part.
And is that a tapestry up in the stairwell there?
No, that's basically it's a drawing that we had enlarged and put onto the paneling, which is great, and it fits the space so beautifully. And that's the mirror that we put up just before Christmas, and all of the wonderful plasterwork there.
Did you find that mirror in France?
We found that in Belgium.
Okay.
And that was the tallest. That's 2.5, meters. So it's actually, and it looks tiny here, which is quite funny. I don't think it could have been any smaller. And it's got an Italian console table underneath it. But we also found these incredible torchères in Venice. So these were really, really beautiful. So they're quite rare to actually come out of Venice. And then I know Beth will love this, so I'm going to try and go down to the servants' quarters, because I don't think any of you guys will have seen this bit, but it's... So let me just see if this works. Okay, going through here. There's no lighting down here, so...
I always try and tell customers, even if they live in a, relatively normal house, that they shouldn't have loads of small bits of furniture or small things all dotted around, at about sort of 3 foot high all the way around the room.
Actually, no, absolutely.
Bigger pieces do create that sort of dramatic look. But I mean, obviously, you've got the luxury of the high ceiling and the space. So,
well, this goes. So this is the servant staircase. That's Hatchie. I know, and then it goes all the way up for the entire top, and that's the clock.
That's not
servant's clock. Which chimes literally 3 minutes. No, it's right, but what's amazing, it chimes on the hour, and then it chimes 3 minutes after the hour to let the servants know that they should have done what they should have done.
Oh, well, that's quite good, yeah.
It's absolutely incredible, and it's
so that's original to the property then.
Yeah, and it's made in Cantillon, which is the next door village.
Okay, so you're in the north, aren't you?
Yeah, we're in the north. And this is the office manager's, this is all that's left of the office manager's office. And then it goes through, this is all the servants' area.
What do you think down there?
All original irons. You've got the original well here. So this is the hand pump for the well.
Oh my God, yeah.
Which is divine, and this was actually kept as there was a German prisoner of war kept here, and that's all his markings on the wall while he was kept in here as a prisoner for about 2 months.
Oh, yeah, unbelievable.
And as you come through here,
what are your plans, Tim, for this sort of level?
To spend our life restoring it. So.
No, the servants' quarters. Do you think you're going to make it? You're going to make it livable again. You're going to restore it.
Yeah. So this is where this is going to become the dog room. So as you come in through the side, this will be where all the kind of dogs and anoraks and everything else and Wellington boots go. And then I hope this is going to stretch. Then you come through here, and this will be the start of the kitchen. So you'll have one fireplace at one end here. This was the servants' dining room. And then as you go all the way through there, right at the other end, will be the fireplace for the other end of the kitchen.
Oh, wow. And you're going to be able to take... I suppose you'll have to put steels in or something.
We'll put steels in. But you see, at the moment, they were all divided into sections so that you have these rooms where you had, meeting rooms, you had farmers' rooms, you had the... all the different meats, pastries, and there's just a series of huge rooms. And then there's one that goes into the wine cellar, which has earth floor. And then you have the most wonderful, it's the kind of the correct kind of mold on the kind of walls for all the keeping of the wine.
Okay, yeah, it looks amazing.
But yeah.
So lucky to find it. Did you look at lots of places before you found that one, or?
No, we actually ended up. Let me put this back here. So we ended up only looking at one chateau.
Oh, wow.
So this one. So what was great about it is that we looked online a lot, and eventually we found this, and we walked in and we went, "This is extraordinary. It's untouched." And we had no idea of its history. And that was, the extraordinary thing about it is that, no one had mucked around with it. So everything is original, everything, which is great, but it's a challenge. So.
Yeah, but that's so much better than buying somewhere that you're told is perhaps done up or restored. Yeah. And then you end up ripping the whole thing to pieces because most of the work hasn't actually been done properly. So yeah, it's probably better.
I think we've been so lucky with a lot of the family and the furniture and they've been incredibly generous with, you know, just their history of the chateau and their grandfather and everyone else. And then I think it was such a surprise when Steve, about 2 months into having this, ended up kind of looking, you know, we found all these incredible film footages online of Eisenhower staying here. And, you know, then it was just like, oh gosh, did anyone ever want to tell us about that history? And, you know, and it was the Nazi headquarters before that. And we found so many things in the heating vents here from them, you know, the papers, and, you know, it's just extraordinary. But I think the other part of this, apart from the restoration, is that the park is so incredible. You know, to have a whole park, literally like Hyde Park, to yourself. I mean, it feels very naughty. And to have an incredible lake, you know, a waterfall, which they call the Grand Cascade, is just stunning. And it has a summer house with a, you know, island on it. And that's going to, you know, we started restoring that as well. So it's been a great journey.
And when do you think you're going to have it, you know, is there ever going to be a finished time, or?
I think, you know, at the moment, you know, every single light bulb, every single piece of wiring, plumbing, you know, this was one of the, trying to get my head around how incredible it was in 1910 to have an ensuite bathroom to every single one of the, you know, 20-odd bedrooms.
That's amazing, yeah.
It's just unprecedented. I mean, you know, they're really on their last legs. We're using an original one at the moment, so it feels like camping. You know, when you suddenly kind of end up having to kind of turn that kind of hot tap on with a pair of pliers, you know you're definitely DIYing. But you know, we're starting to put the plumbing in and the bathrooms in now, and it's you know, Steve's extraordinary at that. I mean, he's just such a, you know, remarkable individual. I just go.
He's loving the DIY, is he?
He's just so good at it. I mean, you know, he spends a lot of time FaceTiming with his father, who's a builder, and his brothers, who, you know, all do this. And so getting the kind of rakes right, getting the kind of, you know, he talks about U-bends, and I have no idea. I just go, what color is it?
So, yeah, I was going to say, so you're more the creative,
yeah.
and he's the instigator, the builder, or the, you know, he understands the mechanics of it probably more.
Yeah, I mean, completely. I mean, you know, I think we both have a vision. We walked around the entire chateau today, which took most of the day, to actually look at all the rooms and just work out what we're talking about, you know, what that one does, what this one's going to be, the chinoiserie games room, the library, the kind of the morning room, the Italian room, all of these aspects, because we just want to make sure that we're all on the same page, and we've got to get the heating and plumbing in the right place for all of it. And you know, that's a huge task, especially when you consider it's just the fact that you've got to put in, rather like we put the fosse in, which is the septic tank, the sewage system, that if 42 people went to the loo at the same time, that's their reasoning in France. It has to be that size. But weirdly, when you think about if everyone goes, gosh, dinner's at 7:30. You know, we want everyone to have a bath beforehand, and you're getting up in the morning. Everyone's going to have a bath at the same time. Yeah, so, you know, if you're sharing a room, that's going to be 40-odd people having a bath, and that's a lot of hot water. So you've got to make sure that you've got all the, yeah, exactly, all the balance ready and all the tanks, because there's nothing worse than someone going, oh, it was really cold, or it was really, you know, miserable. I couldn't get enough hot water.
There wasn't any water.
Yeah.
Turn the taps on, nothing happened.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah. And then that's
exciting.
It's really, it's such a challenge. And I mean, for me and kind of history, I think that's where I get really excited. And we spend a lot of time considering every single detail and the design and the details that we're putting back. And if we have to take something up to get into the fabric of the building, what we're going to put down to make sure that it's actually historically accurate. And, you know, it's taken 7 months to make the bathroom floors. Which are all kind of hand cut in.
I was thinking that for me, I mean, obviously, I'm sure there are lots of other chateau restorations going on, but you know, the things you've done so far appear to be on a different scale, a lot more detail, and probably more historically correct. And is that part of your kind of ethos for the whole project?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's we have a rule that if we're taking something out, that we've got to put something historically back in. And whether that's an antique or we can find something that's a tile that's made by the same, you know, pottery or the same craftsman or same company. You know, the other bizarre thing that sets us apart, I think, from a lot of restoration things, that we have every single invoice for every single thing that's gone into the chateau. That's that. I mean, that's, you know, so we that's how we know that the staircase was made in the same workshop as the Aquitania, the ocean line in the Aquitania. So, you know, we know where everything sat. We know what company made it. We know how much it was, and you know, the plaster panels. And you just go, right, okay. So if the company still exists, you can go back and actually have a conversation with them, or you can try and find something that's going to be of the same genre and the same feel. And I think that's why it's so exciting.
Yeah, it sounds amazing. I mean, having a chateau per se is, you know, the dream for many people. I mean, probably everyone that's watching tonight, but nearly every person that even comes and buys or talks about buying a, you know, a small French item or a piece of furniture, it's like, oh, we want to buy a house in France, but really we love a chateau. And you're like, do you realise what you could be taking on?
Yeah, I think it's rather like giving birth, apparently. That, you know, you go through that pain barrier, and then, you know, you forget all of it. You just think about the wonder.
Yeah, then you end up having another one. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you have another. You know, I think it's, for me, I've learnt so much about French design, and certainly, you know, for me, it's fascinating historically to understand how this chateau worked from the point of view of design, but also social history. So it's really fascinating that we had Maud and Brigitte, who grew up at the chateau here, and they came over for lunch last week. It's really remarkable to listen to them about how, when they started off, there were, you know, 12 servants, 20 servants, and it just got less and less and less, like every single big house.
Yeah.
But, you know, you layer onto the fact that you're in France. They had a revolution. They replaced it with everyone that was then, you know, industrialists. You know, the wealth came from Fahir or Bon Marché. And then, you know, you still got the kind of hierarchical running of these incredible, just laying of the fires. We had 3 fires going for that lunch. And I felt like a kind of wasp in a jam jar. I was just, you know, I just don't know how, you know, you were running around with logs and kind of making sure that they didn't go out. And that was just the fires of 3 fires. When you've got 22
and do
fires.
You have help there now, or is it literally just the 2 of you?
Well, we have some people that kind of come in and help doing the odd things. And we're going to get a full-time housekeeper, because it just, as you start restoring, you actually need then the maintenance of completely dusting and keeping everything going.
Just the basic sort of cleaning and tidying of the areas that you have completed or nearly completed
and looking after. And it's the same as the park and the garden. The more that we start restoring that, and we put all the pathways in. So we found this incredible 1850s map of the park, and it had these incredible centric circles of all the pathways around the whole park. It's a shame that it's dark, because it's just such a beautiful thing. But it was remarkable then to say, right, let's put that back, and underneath the grass was all the gravel. Yay! And then I suddenly have spent 1.5 years with my mother, Queen Mary, basically weeding the paths that we've created. You know, they're original, the gravel's underneath it, but my goodness, I've forgotten there was a kind of team of 5 gardeners here. Yes. And that's when you need another kind of team of people. So
a tame goat.
Yeah, but to kind of eat all the weeds in a kind of directional kind of pathway. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a never-ending, but it's obviously what you wanted to do. I mean, this is your plan forever now, or?
Yeah, I mean, it's such a, you know, it's such an incredibly consuming thing. Both, you know, Steve and I work in the design world, so we are able to then feed that back into here, and the things that we do have a synergy with it.
I was going to say that. Are you still able to work on other projects then? So you're sort
of absolutely. So
yeah.
I'm lucky that in a normal world, I would, you know, I do a lot of work internationally for design and super yachts. So it's just a question of then, you know, it's problematic getting on a plane, obviously, and trying to do things now with, you know, Zoom and FaceTime. But, you know, we've got used to it, and that's, you know, the new world that we live in. But you know, and it has allowed us to spend so much more time and energy, you know, down here. But it is a joy, and it's just
someone's commented on here. You should get goats in a movable pen.
That's a great idea. You know, literally just going to move them, plonk them down, move them around the path. Exactly. That's a really good idea. Yeah, but we are so lucky, you know, with everything that the building gives us, and then also, you know, just being able to share it with everyone, I think is really interesting. It's taken us completely by surprise to have so many wonderful people that we've met around the world that have been engaged on this adventure with us. And
it's been fascinating watching it, because I mean, everyone thinks that I'm trawling there looking for things to buy, and it's like, no. I just want to see everything that everyone's doing, you know. And I think I sort of most became engaged not that long ago, but when you started doing the paint colours.
Yeah.
Because I'm always fascinated with colours, because you can, I mean, although I can create paint finishes, I know which colours are, you know, and you see pieces of furniture, you know which are original and which are, you know, not so original, but still look great.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was very interested in all that paint, you know, all the swatches you were doing, and then creating all the names and stuff. I thought that was a really good
and that's been a great process of being, you know, working with, you know, everyone on Insta doing this. But I mean, God, those greens were so hard to get right. Yeah. And that was a really big surprise for me. And I think that immersing myself then into the historical colors of France, and understanding what it was I'm looking at, because I'm pretty good at understanding what English, you know, 1830s, 1700s, you know, we can all judge something. It's very different in France because it's so much more sophisticated. They were ahead of us by 150 to 200 years in their design detailing. So it made us look like, you know, new money in the 1830s, by which point, you know, that was really old and fantastic. And that's why there was an ability to let things wear down much more in France than we had in England. You know, we were all about, gosh, you know, if it was worn, it was, you know, it was just, oh gosh. You know, in France, it was like, you know, we've been living this, you know, for about 200 years, so rack off. And I think that's really exciting to then look at the colors and work out how to interpret the Orbison rugs, because there were just no colors out there that represented those. And and paint is incredibly complicated to get in France, just as impossible. You know, a great range of color.
Because so many people that go to buy it, they're like, where do I get paint from? And actually, they are bringing it in from the UK. I mean, I can't remember which paint company was it you worked with.
Grafenstone, who wonderfully, that's all natural ingredients, and they also have graphene in it, which is a kind of an atom thick molecule, which means that it can breathe, and it's just so fantastic. The fact, you know, it's all water based, and
go for dinner.
Yeah,
you've got to go for dinner. It's 20.
I know.
23 minutes past.
I know. I'm getting that the call of the wild of the kind.
I was imagining that, you know, we were cutting the call off so you could go and, you know, put your tux on and everything.
Black tie. No, it's just Steve and I on the other end of the table. Yeah, miles away from each other. So.
Oh well, it's been really great speaking with you, Tim, and it might be good if I'm still doing this in the summer on the French Fridays. Maybe we could look at the park.
Yeah, I mean, I would love, I mean, you know, we'll have to work out how we can stretch. This is all Wi-Fi. I mean, we're missing an entire section, literally this is only 1/3 of the Chateau, because we can't get the Wi-Fi to, you know, further.
You're nearly 50 rooms there, aren't you?
Yeah, 57. It's a Herculean moment. But the park is just, you know, even if there wasn't a Chateau here, the park is just so remarkable. And you know, in the summer, I'd love to show you. I mean, it's just, you know, we can gaze out any window and it's a framed picture. Yeah, and the specimen trees are just extraordinary. So learning a lot about that too.
Have a lovely dinner, and thank you so much for joining the very first French Friday of 2022.
Thank you so much, Polly.
See you soon. Bye, Tim.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye.